so I don't freak out or something.
Hi, host Eric here, host of Talking with Famous People, and I am here with Lightbulb and with Casual INTP, as well as Casual INTP's doppelganger, Barry, and Elsie is here as well. We also have Nick and TWFE Unicorn. We'll try to get input from everybody. I'll look at Lightbulb's facial cues to determine if I'm going on too long. And sorry to do that too long. Sorry, light bulb. My bad.
We'll
I
never
shouldn't have done
know.
that. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. See, I can tell. The what we're talking about though is INTP INTJ video. The distinction between them, and particularly about NI. I've heard a lot of INTPs indicate that they feel as though they have a good relationship with NI, and that they identify more strongly with NI than with maybe sometimes than with NE, as I think casual INTP will say. And he says, well, this is what this other model says. I don't care what the model says. And I'm just saying is he personally feels as though that fits him better, or his understanding of NI is somewhat different than my own, or whatever. But I also have the reference of this individual, Gord Thor, I talked about in another video, who says he splits the difference between INTP and INTJ. He goes NI, TE as his four top functions in terms of preference. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and specifically the idea that um, that NI is here's what the INTP would like to do, and here's where the INTP and INTJ cross grounds, is that the INTP would like to study a system, understand that system that is involving a bunch of different people making moves in the system. Okay, a bunch of different players making moves in the system. The INTP would like stand on the sideline until they completely understand the system, and then make one move and win the game. That that is a NITI uh, trifecta
Yes,
with two.
yes. Because
Whatever it's
I
called.
do the same.
Okay,
Yeah, because NI is the time thing, and TI is understanding. So
right.
NI would know the right time to strike, but before that, TI has to have all the time it needed to gather all the data. So when the right time to strike comes, it should be prepared.
So my thesis is the NI in INFJs is what pulls the TI into being strong, and the TI in INTPs is pulls the um, what pulls the NI into being strong, because they're
I think
naturally
you meant
aligned with each other in that regard. TI wants the system to be understood. It wants a whole, complete, testable, verifiable, falsifiable model that it can understand things through in a systematic kind of a way. And then NI is the only thing. And then if that's the case, then you only need NI. You need NI to specifically find the exact one possibility that's the best one, rather than blumbering your way through multiple possibilities, which
I
is
don't
much
know that
more
he,
possible with TE.
sorry.
Sorry.
I don't know that he spoke because I pulled it to me because he said NI and TI, and that's my internal process. So I did that. I don't think he misspoke.
no, he misspoke. I think he meant INTJ because I
No,
saw
no.
your
I actually,
reaction.
I did mean INFJ, but you're right.
Really?
I should have meant INTJ.
Okay. All right.
I
Oh
just was
no,
being selfish.
no.
Because you said NI and TI, they wait and then they make one move, and I said, yeah, that's what I do. But and so I even if you were talking about like INTJ or INTP, whatever, I stole it and I made it about me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I missed it. I'm sorry. I should have been better at playing catch. Regardless, the I the idea that NI and TI relate to each other naturally in you and unnaturally in casual INTP is something that he may or may not dispute, but that I would say that is according to the conventional model. They occur naturally within you and they occur unnaturally within him in the same alignment. So what I'm saying is, my observation then is not very meaningful to say that the relationship between them is comparable. That's the problem. Regardless, uh, I do think it is a similar force, which is that the introverted intuition does well, they match up well with TI for strategic or tactical purposes like that. And they match up better for strategic and tactical purposes than do NE and TI or than do NI and TE. And so that's my thoughts on why INTPs feel like they're NI heavy, and they may be. I mean, the other thing is I see it as it kind of forms into whatever you make it into. It's got that quality to it, the taxonomy. So you can interpret NI a little differently and have it work or not. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, just think of it as GE for you, and then see if it makes sense. You know what I mean?
NETE? Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It makes sense for me too because I realize I'm always trying to use little bits of TE to get NE happening, and the TI aspect of it is the thing I it's a well that I reference of stuff rather than stuff that anybody sees.
Yeah, for you, NE would be the rider or the jockey, and TI um, would be the horse in Model G, because earlier you said some model or model. Just want to point out that it's Model G.
Okay.
Why I said that?
Okay.
Because
Well,
it makes sense to me. You know,
okay.
that's why I.
That's fine. I'm not trying to invalidate the model. I don't. It doesn't
All right,
matter to
all
me
right.
which model's correct. I'm not trying to say one model's more correct or the other. I'm just saying I'm using this one to describe it. Okay? Because
Yeah.
um, I think the issue is, do you feel more like an extroverted intuitor casual or an introverted intuitor?
I think both, but the thing is, NI, like it happens uh, easier. You know, I don't have to force it. Wh- While NE, I have to like to put some. I don't know what to say, but
You
it's
have to
like
expend energy because it's extroverted. I don't know.
no, it's like I have to tell myself, okay, now I'm going NE mode. It doesn't just happen by itself. And when I
Mm.
go in NE mode and I start like coming up or connecting the dots outside or coming up with ideas or I don't know how to define NE, I have to stop thinking about how I do that. Because if I think about how I'm going to brainstorm something that I'm not using NE, I'm using TI.
Mm.
But for NI, it's just when I'm using TI, NI just it gets you use them both at the same time. So you think logically about something, but at the same time, some things that they make sense and you connect them in that logical pattern without you thinking about them.
Interesting. That's really interesting. That's really
Yeah, I want to disagree with you because I don't think it's your
Yeah,
sixth function. Like you can't.
for you it's if I.
Yeah, I don't really care about FI.
But you use it like according to the model. I mean, that's you should use it as. Let me read what it says here. FI for INFJs.
Mm.
Keeps things pleasant in his circle, stays away from rude, unpleasant persons, peacemaker.
Hmm.
Takes
Yeah.
advantages of the situation in order to correct the relationship by passing judgment or distancing from destructive people. Has acute awareness of conflicts evolving around him, successfully calms down the participants through analyzing the conflict in a sensitive way, can show resentment toward someone but won't hold a grudge. This is what it
I don't know
says.
about that last one. So, what was it? It says has resentment but won't hold a grudge. Well, I disagree with
Yeah,
that. We do the door slam thing. Like once we've seen somebody who continually disrupts harmony,
yeah, yeah.
and
I've
it
heard
doesn't have
about
to be
the
like it doesn't even have to be like loud. It can be subtle the way they disrupt harmony. Disruption comes in a million different forms.
yeah.
So I disagree with that last one. Well,
Yeah, but
Hello?
the thing,
But
the
I
thing
mean, I
is,
guess you're right because what, in a nutshell, what my NI says is that's the protecting. That's where we get the protection description. Like everything you said, it just makes me think of one word: protection.
like if I it's supposed to go with your NI without easily, or if I just gets its agenda from NI, you know. And since they're both introverted, you can do them at the same time. Whether if you wanna go NIFE, you'll be switching from introversion to extroversion, they can't be they can't happen simultaneously. That is what I think. It's not the model. I think it's not the model.
Extroversion, extrovert. Yeah, you're saying extroversion and introversion I can't do. So I can't use like
That's what I think. Yeah, you can't use extroverted and introverted function at the same time because you. It's
of the
like
same function, or can it be different functions?
uh, even even different. I think, but that's just my opinion, not the model's opinion. Because to me it doesn't really make sense that you'll be able to use an introverted function, extroverted function. It's like pulling and pushing at the same time. But I don't know, man.
I don't know either, but it's fun to talk about. Um, come through the blanket like so dramatically. He didn't hear that.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
So, casual, you say
Yeah,
like you use TI and NI um,
yeah,
simultaneously, or
yeah, simultaneously. Not all the time, but
well, what does it say
like
about NI and INTP? Like you just read FI for me.
yeah.
About
Let
NI
me
and
tell
you.
you. And in me it says naturally good at calculating time required to finish a task and breaking it down into a sequence of steps. Far-seeing and punctual, can see clear similarities between seemingly unrelated objects or phenomena that belong to fields far removed from one another, rather than dwelling on the past, tends to focus on the many facets of the future, good at predicting consequences of an action provided he understands its intrinsic logic, cautious, I hope I'm pronouncing that one correctly, cautious something,
Yeah.
self-efficient, frequently lost in thought.
Frequently lost in thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true of all intuitives.
Yeah. So if that's true, if you're saying that's true of all intuitives, how is that description specific to INTP?
Well, the frequently
I
Or
think
is
you
lost
it,
in
mean,
thought. I mean the frequently lost in thought part.
yeah.
that's the only one I really think, oh, that's INTP. Lost in thought.
But I mean, it's ENTP when they're not talking.
Also, you have to know that in Model G, or not just Model G, like Gunenko, like he splits every function in two. Like there are Ni plus and Ni minus. For example, INFJ's Ni is Ni plus because they're positivists, so they focus on the good thing, like and the future more. While in
Oh,
INTJs, since they are negativists, they like keep their NI is more of uh, uh, they thinks more of the past and try to avoid doing the same thing that happened.
mm,
Yeah,
Let me tell
here,
you what. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
what's telling to me is the way that Megabro goes about understanding these things is to collect examples of them. And he's got
Yeah,
them
I
on
see him
playlists,
writing.
you know? And so and the way he's teaching me about them as well is through examples of them. He'll find a video of mine in which I display negative SI in 4 dimensions in this video, and he'll tell me why and how, and I'll go, oh, is
Yeah,
pretty good, right? That's like
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
TENI, boom, example
yeah.
time.
I've been trying to talk to Mega Bro, but he doesn't come here too much.
You don't
I
go to
wasn't
Mega
able
Bro.
to.
Mega Bro comes to you.
No, I mean like he used to come here, or like we used to meet at the same time or something. But maybe he changed his pattern.
Like I said, you don't go to Mega Bro. He comes to you, and
All right.
if you, he knows Mega Bro knows Mega Bro knows where you are, and he'll come when you are sleeping. He'll
All
come.
right.
He won't come if you're awake. He'll come only if you've been good or bad or something. I don't know. It's the same. So, um,
Yo, a light bulb. Light bulb. Does this make sense to you? Has a romantic approach to life, a gift for dreaming big and anticipating positive changes, can wait patiently until they happen, trusts his gut feelings, strive for positive thinking, brings others' attention to the ways current problems can resolve themselves, knows the right moment to approach a person, prefers hints and allegories to direct statements.
Okay, I do agree with all that, but it's too rosy. It's not. It's not. It's one-sided. That's what I have a problem with some of these, description things online because
They're like too vague.
they're too positive. So I agree with all of that, but then I also think they can see all the negative as well, like that.
Yes, yeah, they can, but the default is the positive. Like
Yeah, I
when
guess
you're in
I
normal
want to
state.
agree with you because that makes me